Hey, friend. Hey. So today, I want you to lean in a little bit because we have something that we need to talk about. We're going to be talking about how you can tell if the person that you are with, you're dating, is toxic. Are you ready? Then let's go. Okay. So here's the thing. Um, I'm just gonna jump in because I feel like this is a topic that we really need to talk about. Like we get so many things thrown around in our society, so many colloquialisms and topics and trending words that are thrown around so much in our society that sometimes we don't stop to really pay attention to what the real definition of them mean. So today we're going to be talking about how you can tell if the person that you are with is toxic. And here's number one. How you can tell if the person that you are with, whether you're dating, whether you're in a relationship, whether you have been dating for a while, whether you're married, like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Here's how you can tell. Number one sign, if the person that you're with is toxic. You ready? You can't. You cannot. You can't. As particularly in the beginning, you will not be able to tell. You won't be able to tell. And that's for a few reasons. Usually when someone is toxic. Now let's first start there. Let's define what toxic is in by my definition. Now, if you don't know who I am by now, my name is Dr. Tiffany. I'm a relationship expert. I'm a trained marriage and family therapist, and I work with women every day who are recovering and healing from relationship trauma. Relationship trauma just means that they've been in some kind of a toxic or unhealthy relationship at some point in time in their life, and they feel stuck and like they can't move on, and they don't understand why they continuously attract the same type of men that are not really fulfilling their needs, wants, and desires. And then they get to the end of the relationship and like, what happened? Well, attracting the right people start in the beginning. It started in the beginning. So if you're attracted people that are wounded, chances are it's because there's some part of you that is wounded. But this is not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about how you can tell if someone you're with is toxic. So in the beginning, you will not be able to tell. You won't be able to tell. And there's this thing, you probably heard it, called love bombing, when you enter into a relationship, or even before you really enter into the relationship with a person, that they literally bomb you with all this affection and this care and this love and this attention. Well, if you have not been getting that from other people in the past, then in the beginning you kind of get lured in by because you think, oh, this person really does like me, this person really does care about me, this is how they're showing that they want to be with me. They're buying me expensive gifts, or they're constantly there all the time at your ever beck and call, and every always calling you. And in the beginning, if you're not used to that type of affection and that type of attention, then you will think that there's nothing wrong. However, it love bombing is a form of emotional manipulation, because it literally tricks you into thinking that a person is a certain type of person that they're really not. And so a lot of times you won't be able to tell if that person is toxic in the beginning because you have all of this other stuff that's blinding your views. Like, my parents love them, or they are really respectful, and they have bought me all these gifts and fancy trips and all of these things, that and have shown me all of this time, and given me all of their time and their attention. And so you're lured in by that, and you don't think that the person is actually emotionally manipulating you. So in the beginning, you won't be able to tell. A lot of times your family and your friends won't be able to tell you. How do I say this? The only way that you will be able to tell if the person that you are with is toxic is through time. Now, I know that's not up, that's not, something that you want to throw the confetti up and be like, oh, okay, time, yeah, yeah. No, time. And I say that because over time, you begin to see who that person really is. Like, people can fool you sometimes, but they cannot fool you all the times. At some point in time, the mask will come off. Who they are, the manipulation, the control, the how they react and respond to certain things, and especially when they're triggered or when their buttons are pushed, it will come out over time. They may be able to hide it in the beginning, and that's just, remember what I said, that's love bombing. That's to just kind of get you pulled in, get you bought in, get your heart involved, and get you invested into the relationship or invested into them. But as soon as you're triggering them or you push their buttons, then the real them will come out eventually. And so what you do, here's what you should do in order to make sure that you don't get caught up in that love triangle, and well, not a triangle, but that you don't get caught up and all of the emotional manipulation and all of that stuff. Here's what you do. Take your time. Take your time to get to know them. Take your time in watching them and observing them in certain environments and in certain situations, to get to know who their family is, get to know what kind of friends they have, and how, what type of friend they are, what type of a son they are to their parents, or what type of a brother, or or sister, whatever, what, get to know who they are. And I know that does not sound good, because we live in a society where we want everything right now. Like, we want everything right now, and if it feels good, then we should go with it. And well, he makes me feel a certain type of way, or she makes me feel a certain type of way, and well, we should just go with it because, hey, my feelings, my guard is down. Well, here's the thing about your feelings. I'm just gonna tell you this now, because they didn't tell me this when I was getting trained as a marriage and family therapist. They didn't tell me this, and I was like, what? When I figured this out, I was like, what in the world have we been teaching clients in therapy? What do you mean to follow your feelings and your emotions, and what your feelings don't lie, and your that is a whole lie. It's a whole lie. Your feelings can lie to you. Your feelings can lie to you. And just because you're feeling a certain type of way does not mean that you have to actually give in to how you feel. Like, I really want to be in the bed right now. Like, it would be nice for me to stay in the bed all day, and it would be nice. But if I do that, then I don't get any work done. I'm not reaching towards the goals that I have planned for my life. I'm just a couch potato. I'm not getting housework done. I'm not in spending time with my children or my family. Like, if I give in to my emotions all the time, I don't reach the goal that I'm trying to reach. And while we should be aware of our feelings, we should be aware of how we feel. Like, that's one of those words that you hear people say, emotional intelligence. We should have emotional intelligence, which means that we should be aware of how we feel, and we should be able to communicate how we feel to someone else. That is the purpose for our feelings, but it does not mean that we have to go with our feelings. We don't have to give in to what we feel all the time. We don't. And that comes with emotional maturity. That comes with healing. And so what typically happens when a person is attracting someone who is toxic, and they're giving in, to their emotions and their feelings, and their guard is down, and it means that they're not protecting their heart. And what the scripture tells us, that we should guard our heart. We should always guard our heart, because out of it flows the issues of our lives. And so if you're not guarding your heart, and you're leaving your heart open and exposed to someone who you may not know, but they probably know that their intent is not good, and they're toxic, and they're, emotionally manipulative, and you're leaving yourself open to that type of person because it felt in the beginning, then you're left with the damage of what comes in when you're in a toxic relationship. The emotional damage, the hit to your self-esteem, the hit to your confidence and who you are. And then you begin questioning your identity, and you even begin questioning yourself as a person in other relationships, because if you remember that time when you entered into the relationship and this person was really, 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 really nice to you, and your feelings told you that you should give in and let your guard down because they were really nice to you, like really, really nice to you in the beginning. And now you're left with the aftermath of that because you did not guard your heart. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps. I hope that helps. I think if you get nothing else out of what I have said today, is that you take your time when entering into a relationship. I know that goes against culture. I know that goes against, Grandma Sue and Grandpa Edward's story. I'm just making names up as I go. Again, I know that goes against their story that they met when they were teenagers and they married, a week later, and they've been married now for 50 years. I know it goes against their cultural norms to take your time when you're dating. Take your time, but take your time. Take your time because your heart is precious. Your heart is precious. And once your heart has been broken and injured by other people, well, there's some cleanup that has to come behind that. And a lot of times people do not want to do the cleanup, or they don't think that they need to do the cleanup that comes behind that. And so, what cleanup? I bet you like, what does she mean by cleanup after that? Well, if you want to know, then put it in the comments and I'll come behind and make a video about what happens. Like, what do you do now that you know that you're in a toxic relationship, or that the person that you're with is toxic? What do you do after that? Let me know. If you have any questions, please drop them down in the comments and let me know. I love you so much. I hope you enjoyed today. I hope you were able to relate and get something out of it. Like, I hope that you're able to not just get something out of it, but you take it and you apply it to your life and you slow down. Slow down. Because one thing that I know, and you should know, that diamonds, the real ones, not the cubic zirconia ones, not the ones you can buy at Walmart, not those, the ones that they sit on top of the counter. I'm talking about the ones where you have to actually go into a jewelry store and they have to put them in a counter behind lock and key, and you have a representative that takes it out, and they watching you very close. They actually got an alarm on the door, and people are notified if you walk out and you're going to jail for. Okay, diamonds take time, and they're precious, they're valued. And you, my friend, you're precious and you're valued too, and you are worth the wait. Bye.